A man catches a big fish and carefully places it in a box before returning to his base, an airplane wreck. He is a plane crash survivor, stranded and waiting for rescue. Without any tools to make a fire, he has no choice but to eat raw fish. After eating, he grabs his signal transmitter and climbs to the highest nearby mountain. Since there's no electricity, he relies on hand cranking the device, hoping that a passing plane will spot him. He decides it's time to sleep, puts on his hat, and crawls into his sleeping bag. Every day, he carves a massive SOS signal into the snow, hoping to increase his chances of being seen. One day, while fishing, he hears the loud ringing of a metal bell attached to his fishing equipment. Rushing over, he retrieves his catch, only to find that his storage box has been smashed and the fish inside devoured. More terrifyingly, there are enormous footprints left behind. Despite the looming danger, he cannot stop searching for a rescue signal. Watching a polar bear from a distance, he continues cranking the transmitter while staying alert. Day after day, he repeats the same routine, maintaining the SOS signal, fishing, and searching for aircraft signals. Then, one day, as he is scanning the skies, he notices dark clouds rolling in. Suddenly, the signal light turns on. He quickly cranks the transmitter with all his strength, removes his hat in excitement, and scans his surroundings. A helicopter appears. Frantically, he grabs a flare and waves it while shouting. Fortunately, the aircraft notices him, but due to the harsh weather, the helicopter loses control and crashes. Without hesitation, the man rushes to the wreckage, prying open the cabin door with all his might. The male pilot is already dead, so he drags the body outside and turns to rescue the other survivor, a severely injured woman. Finding a first aid kit, he bandages her wounds. The blizzard is too intense for them to return, so they spend the night in the wreckage. The next morning, he scavenges for useful supplies. Even a packet of instant noodles feels like a luxury. He dismantles the helicopter door and crafts a sled. After leaving a record of their departure in the wreckage, he places the woman on the sled and pulls her back to his shelter. Inside, he lays her on his bed and instructs her to make a fist, trying to keep her conscious. He covers her with all the clothes he has and then returns to the helicopter. He removes the dead pilot's clothing and builds a makeshift grave with stones. He also finds a gas stove and a lighter, hauling everything back with the sled, and lights the gas stove, savoring the long-lost warmth. He places a photo of the woman's family by the window, studying the map. He searches for the nearest rescue station. Suddenly, he hears a sound outside. It's the fishing hole. He has caught a massive trout. Overjoyed, he cooks the fish, relishing his best meal in months, and feeds the woman repeatedly. But then, he hears her coughing. Her medicine is gone. He immediately decides to head for the nearest rescue station. He crafts extra fishing hooks, packs all the fish, gathers the essentials, and fills a kettle with water, wrapping the woman tightly in warm clothing. He leaves their names in the wreckage before setting off. Struggling through the snow, he marks their travel distance on a mountaintop, but they have barely made any progress. As night falls, he digs a hole in the snow for shelter. They huddle together, eating fish while he holds her hands to keep her warm. The next morning, they continue their arduous journey through deep snow. A violent snowstorm makes each step even more grueling. He realizes they are going in circles, arriving at a place he has been before. Spotting a steep slope, he checks the map and decides to take a shortcut. First, he climbs to the top to scout the route, then returns to secure their supplies before attempting to pull the woman up. But no matter how hard he tries, they keep slipping down. In one final desperate pull, he loses grip, and the sled rushes downhill, crashing into a snowbank. Exhausted, he lies on the ground, panting. With no choice, he decides to take a detour. That night, he discovers a cave and pushes the woman inside before crawling in himself. He starts a fire and cooks fish, but she can no longer eat. As darkness falls, he hears a noise at the entrance. It's a polar bear. The bear shoves its head inside, tearing through the snow barrier. The man immediately ignites a flare. The bear, startled by the unfamiliar sight, retreats, though he is relieved. Fear grips him tightly. The next morning, he battles the freezing wind and continues forward. The blizzard worsens, forcing him to stop. He props up the sled as a windbreaker and burrows into his sleeping bag. When the storm finally passes, they are buried under thick snow. Crawling out, he finds his kettle frozen solid. He hugs it close to his body, trying to melt the ice with his own warmth before pressing on. But soon, his hands are too numb to move. In desperation, he burns his own clothes for warmth. Meanwhile, the woman's condition deteriorates. Her eyes remain shut, and her hands have stiffened. By morning, she coughs up blood. Her wounds have become infected again. The man hesitates before making a painful decision. He packs his belongings and decides to save himself. But fate has other plans. He slips and falls into an ice cave, his thigh trapped between rocks. Every slight movement sends waves of pain through his body, but he refuses to give up. Through sheer determination, he struggles again and again until he finally frees himself, crawling out of the cave with a limp. reaching the woman's side. He unzips the sleeping bag. She is still alive. He apologizes repeatedly, guilt-ridden, removing his scarf. He binds her wound tightly before dragging her forward once more. He pours the last of their water into her mouth, choosing to eat snow himself, but the destination is still far away, and he is completely drained. In frustration, he throws away their remaining supplies and climbs up a hill to scout ahead. Then, he spots something, a helicopter landing in the distance. Hope surges through him as he slides down the hill, desperately pushing the woman forward. But the helicopter is too far, and no matter how loud he shouts, no one hears him. His last flare fails to attract attention. In desperation, he removes his only warm clothing and sets it on fire, hoping the flames will be seen, but the helicopter still flies away. Heartbroken, he lifts the woman in his arms, shouting in vain, but all he can do is watch as their last chance of survival disappears. In the end, he turns to the woman and softly says, "You're not alone. I'm here with you." Holding her hand tightly, they lie down in the snow together, waiting for the inevitable.